So now we're going to talk about your outcome table, which correlates to your presentation. It's a little bit complex based off of which scenario applies to you, but we're going to go over all of it. So if we go down to Tools and Resources for Success and click on Outcome Table Help, there is some instructions, some help on verifying that your projects made it into your ePortfolio successfully, and the actual blank Word document that you can type on to put your information in. So let's first look at this and what you're expected to do with it. So this first part is for my students who have been in the PN program the whole time, from fundamentals up, the whole shebang. All right, so the first thing that students struggle with is knowing what class is what. So LPVN 120, that is mother baby. 101, that is Med Surg 1. 105 is farm. 100 is funds. 130 is Med Surg 2. And 115 is my class. Okay. So for all of these numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 8 and 10, if you completed those assignments, which you should have if you have been in the program the whole time, or will complete this semester, it's a this semester thing, that project has been assigned because it meets, oops, come on, where? Oh, there we go. Okay. Jeez Louise. Okay. Because it meets the outcome that it is assigned to. So, your mother-baby concept maps meet the outcome of providing safe, relationship-centered nursing care, contributing to the nursing process, which has foundations of critical thinking and evidence-based practice. You are going to do two things. You are going to tell me how this assignment met this outcome. So, my you're going to start this, everyone's going to start this the same way. My LPVN 120 concept map met this outcome by blah, 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 blah. Meeting this outcome, so we're going to move over to this one right here. Meeting this outcome, will help me as in my future role as a nurse by blah, 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 blah. Please feel, like I said, I am pro ChatGPT. I am pro making your life easier as long as it's ethical. If you put your physical work in there and ask it how that met this objective, I'm okay with it as long as you then put all of that in your own words. Completely fine. This 101, that's Med Surg 1, that was the case study you did. She didn't, it was a lady, she was slumped over a bench, she had some breathing issues, and then at the end of the day, she didn't have a DNR, so there were some ethical issues. Okay. 105, this was your pharmacology project, your pioneers of nursing. The two biggest issues I see with these assignments, students like to tell me about the nurse leader that they researched in this project. But what this is asking is, how did this project help you become a leader and give you those skills? So make sure you're wording it in that way. Same thing here. Read this outcome. Utilize effective communication methods, manage information, prevent errors, and support decision making necessary to provide quality patient-centered care. Okay. You did not meet that outcome by doing a poster on Lisinopril. That does not help anybody. You need to talk about how you communicated with your group members, how you talked about making errors and educating people on a universal level that avoids medical jargon, blah, 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 blah. Okay? And then this one right here, that is your care plan for MedSurg 2. This right here is your thinking abilities paper, which we're going to go over in a different video. And this is your community and careers paper. Paper. Has nothing to do with your community hours and MedSurg. Two totally different things. Students get that mixed up all the time. Okay. So, those are pretty self-explanatory. So for you guys, you have 3 things that have not been assigned a project. This can be anything that you've done in the PN program. So you just utilizing this right here. Reading, you have to read the objective or outcome and pick an assignment. Number 6 says utilizing current technology, evaluating information to accomplish a goal, communicate findings, visual, written, or oral. So a few things that go good here, if you did AP here, and you had to do either like a brochure or a PowerPoint for AP1 or AP2, those can go here. Additionally, if not, your LPVN 110 assignment for which is IV therapy, that assignment also correlates here. You just gotta make sure you write about it correctly. All right. Transfer knowledge, skills, and behaviors through formal and informal learning and life experiences. A good thing that everybody has that's pretty good is their global checklist, because you had to learn and demonstrate those skills in lab before you could transfer them to the clinical setting. Okay. And then lastly, we have follow methods of inquiry and mathematical reasoning. So if you took math, I think it's 201, whatever the math class is, you can use that project. However, if you didn't, an easy default is dosage. Just remember to discuss how you had to utilize the formula and understand and bring a little safety into it. Okay. So that is that. Now, if you are a student who didn't, so by default, if you were in my class, by default, you should be able to do 10 and 8 because we do them in my class. Oops. So, if your journey in nursing has been a little different, I encourage you to set some time out to either meet with me before or after class, or we can set up some time via email, and I can give you some good ideas on what you can use in lieu of the assignments that you did not do. Because I know some students come in second term from an ADM program, and some students come in last term. I'm not. So I have some good ideas if you want to sit down and meet with me. So please schedule that time. Otherwise, let's go look at this. So when you go here, outcome table help. So you've received, I didn't give you guys a blank paper copy, but you can always print one out to brainstorm. But you have been given the electronic version. It is in this folder in the tools and resources for success, as well as it's in the Dropbox for the rough draft of this assignment. Okay. So we already kind of talked about this, how it works. If you've been in the team, and here, the PM program for the whole time, bam, you're good. If you transferred, basically come meet with me so we can discuss alternatives. We already talked about this a little bit. Historical top reflection issues, being very weak in your application of the assessment, being very generalized. This will help me, or I learned a lot. Kind of talk about some specifics. All right. Lack of connection to the outcome itself. So like I said, this is like trying to say you met objective 3 by saying you did a poster on Listen to Pro. How did that do any of that? It didn't. So you got to tell me what parts of that project did that. Okay. And then things to not, to avoid. Not reflecting on yourself. So don't just describe the assignment. Like I said, a big one that people do that in is the Pioneers of Nursing. They reflect on their nurse leader that they have been assigned, but they don't reflect on their growth themselves. Using an incorrect artifact. So, like I said, 6, 7, and 9 are pretty flexible, but you have to use the assigned artifacts if you completed them. Obviously, if you have a different situation, me and you will talk about it. Ticks for success, and then how to check and upload artifacts, and this is the other one too, so that's okay. So this is the same page as in the other one, so we'll just talk about it. When you go to your outcome table, your ePortfolio, y'all normally submit via the Blackboard shell. So for y'all, when you come up here, let me do I have student vision? Yep. See what y'all see. Alright, when y'all have your ePortfolio link and information, that's where you're going to submit your final copies of everything. Okay, so once you have completed your rough draft of your outcome table and I've given you feedback and you've made it corrections as needed, you're going to go to Graduation Ready ePortfolio, click here to open, and then click here to submit. It won't take me anywhere because I'm not a student. But you're going to click here to submit. Okay. There is a back way to get into this. So this is only for if you are using an assignment that is an alternative, or some of your stuff is out of order or out of wonk, because that does happen sometimes. Let me see if I can get it wider. Alright. So when you come here from the front and you go here where it says Details and Actions and Books and Tools, there's this one right here that's called ePortfolio. When y'all click on that, let me go back because it won't let me see it. When y'all click on that, you should it should open a new window, and then you want to choose the correct library. You want to use the one that's LPND, Licensed Practical Nursing Diploma, and hit Open Library. That's where a lot of people mess up. Then you should have an outcome grid. It looks very similar to your paper. And match your outcome table to your ePortfolio. So you're going to click on the number that you're working on and make sure that the artifact that is assigned on your outcome table is in the in that slot. So for example, if you used a clinical experience for an outcome, you're going to upload the daily objective for that day in there, because there's a little plus button you can hit to add it. If something is wrong, you cannot remove items that have been uploaded. However, you can move them, or like you can also copy them to a different number. So a lot of times your AP project ends up under outcome 1 for whatever reason. You can either move it or re-download it and upload it to the correct outcome. And we will go over this a little closer to when it comes time to submit these. And then you're going to repeat for all 10 outcomes. And that is your outcome table.